The first teaser for The Mandalorian and Grogu dropped earlier today. Word on the street is that it was supposed to come out this past Friday, but Disney was and is in the middle of some hot water. Acting like cowards in the face of authoritarianism will do that, especially when one of the franchises you own is about the exact opposite. I'm gonna talk about all of that because I am mad at Disney, but I also want to talk about this trailer. The people who worked hard on the movie, the actual storytellers, are not the people who make those decisions. We start off with the Razor Crest flying up to the Adelphi base, which we saw in The Mandalorian Season 3. We've known that ship would be making a return based on footage shown at Star Wars Celebration and D23. I'll be curious to see if we find out what happened to the N1, I assume we will. I'll also be curious to see if the return of the Razor Crest is satisfying. Its destruction felt big in Season 2, and I don't think the N1 was the most practical ship for a father and a son to fly around in, but I also think it showed growth for Din. As long as they can preserve that growth, it'll be fine. Adelphi is where we see some interactions with Sigourney Weaver's character, and I like that they show how she'll be different from other characters around Grogu. Greef Karga and Peli Motto fawn over the little baby, but Sigourney's New Republic general seems unfazed by his cuteness. We still don't know her name or exact role, but she does have a general's rank insignia on her uniform. I expect she'll be the one assigning jobs to Din. There's a cool shot of him walking towards a place called The Din that advertises spice in its neon sign, and then the rest of the teaser is basically kicking ass and taking names, and the action looks cool. There are some fun creatures and droids to be seen, like the Amani in the water. They were first designed for Return of the Jedi and have since been shown to be from Utapau. The rocks in the water are kind of similar to what we saw of that planet in Revenge of the Sith. We see the Razor Crest being chased by some starfighters. It's hard to make out what they are, but they seem to have prongs in the front, so my best guess would be TIE interceptors. There's a quick flash of Zeb the Lasat fighting a stormtrooper with his bow rifle in a fancy-looking hallway. Zeb was first seen in live action in The Mandalorian Season 3, serving the New Republic on Adelphi, but he was first introduced as one of the main characters of Star Wars Rebels. His bow rifle can be both an electro staff with those purple energy prongs on either ends, or it could be transformed into a blaster rifle, or it even had some mystical properties for the Lasat people. We see Din and Grogu watching a Hutt fight in a coliseum of sorts. Grogu is eating some popcorn, which has a little bit of fun Star Wars lore. It's a snack you can find around the galaxy, but each planet seems to have its own spin. They served Outpost Mix on Batuu and Mantell Mix on Ord Mantell. I'm actually going to guess that this is Mantell Mix and that they are on Ord Mantell because later on in the trailer, I think we see Din fighting a Mantellian Savrip in the Coliseum. I don't know how he winds up in the pit, but I'm not all that surprised. The Mantellian Savrip was a creature first seen in A New Hope because it's a piece from the holochess board. There was even a specific Mantellian Savrip named Kalhar that was famous as a gladiator, so maybe that's him. The Hutt from the Coliseum is likely Rada. There have been rumors the character would be appearing, played by Jeremy Allen White. Rada was the son of Jabba the Hutt, first seen in the Clone Wars movie as a baby. It's been over 30 years since then, and fans have been wondering where on earth he could have been all this time. I'm personally happy to finally get an answer if this is indeed Rada. As the heir to Jabba, I wonder if he might be the target of other Hutts. The twins, who were introduced in the Book of Boba Fett, are on the poster, and Din definitely looks like he's fighting against the Hutt cartel. We see him battling massive, cobbled-together droids at what looks like the entrance to a vault, and the Hutt cartel's insignia is printed on the door. The droids themselves kind of remind me of the Mega Droid from the Star Wars comics. Jabba briefly used one for security after The Empire Strikes Back until it was destroyed. I assume Din will be taking these droids down with the help of his pulse rifle, which I'm glad to see is back. The final big moment of the trailer is the destruction of an AT-AT. I assume this is the end of a clip that was shown at Star Wars Celebration, where Din absolutely tears through stormtroopers from the back of the walker to the front. It was a great action scene, and I wish they included some of it here. In general, the action looks very good. I did skip over a lot of quick Grogu moments, and he gets a lot of cute screen time, of course. He has a tiny telescope, he goes for a tiny swim, he takes a tiny joyride with the tiny Anzellans, they wander through tiny sewers together, and Grogu shoots a tiny paintball at a tiny sewer creature, prompting the only dialogue in the whole teaser, "Good shot, baby." I would say the trailer looks like a return to form for The Mandalorian. I think Season 3 got a little too into the larger Mandalorian storyline. I still wonder if this is going to feel big enough for the return of Star Wars to the big screen, or if it'll just feel like a long episode or a very short season, or what the general vibe is going to be. It's hard to judge, and this is only a teaser trailer for a movie that's 8 months away. Story details will come, and I'm sure there will be a lot of surprises. Like I mentioned, a poster for the movie was also released, and it harkens back to old Western posters, which is fitting. Star Wars and The Mandalorian in particular have always been heavily inspired by the genre. A synopsis was also released, which reads, "The evil empire has fallen, and Imperial warlords remain scattered throughout the galaxy. As the fledgling New Republic works to protect everything the rebellion fought for, they've enlisted the help of legendary Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin and his young apprentice Grogu." That sounds like it might as well be the crawl for the film. So let's speculate on the story a bit. We know the Hutts will be involved, but we've seen a lot of the AT-ATs in the little marketing that's been released. I'm guessing Din and Grogu's primary mission will be to defeat one of the members of the Imperial Shadow Council we saw in The Mandalorian Season 3. Kinda like a mini-boss as we continue to build up to Thrawn. I won't be surprised at all if this movie winds up being the Blue Guy's big screen debut, but he won't be fully dealt with until Filoni's movie. Because while the Empire was defeated, the threat of its return looms, and thank goodness there are people like Din and Grogu willing to help the New Republic fight against them. I've said this over and over again since the series came out, but Star Wars as a franchise is very much about the power we have and how we choose to wield it. For the Jedi, that power is the Force. For the Mandalorians, it's their armor and their tech and their combat abilities. Din used to wield his power for money, but now he wields it to create a better life for his son and for the rest of the galaxy. The past few days, I have been questioning how to use my own power, which I would say is this channel, this platform, because I don't think Disney has been using their power wisely. They have money, influence, legal precedent, and the United States Constitution on their side, but they caved to threats of having some of their channel licenses revoked, and they suspended Jimmy Kimmel for what I would consider to be very tame remarks. Reports suggest that even Disney leadership agreed he didn't cross any lines, but they suspended him anyway, rolling over to appease the FCC in the hopes that they can get some corporate mergers to go through. And it's confusing when you love a franchise like Star Wars that, first of all, brings a lot of people a lot of joy during difficult and unsure times. But it's also a franchise that was meant to teach us what to do in times like these. Star Wars is about recognizing authoritarianism and overcoming fear or anger or apathy or all of the above to stand against it. So it hurts that much more when you see the owner of those stories giving into fear for the sake of their bottom line. But it's a good reminder that in Star Wars, George Lucas almost always portrayed the corporations and their leaders as the bad guys. They use their influence to corrupt the Republic, the Trade Federation, the Corporate Alliance, the Commerce Guild, the Techno Union, and the Banking Clan, all sided with the Sith for the promise of more power and money. They took over the Separatist movement, a group of people with genuine grievances, and they corrupted that too. They played both sides, and guess what? The Sith that they buddied up to didn't shake their hands and say, "Thanks for all the help." When the time came, they were crushed, and the Sith took it all. There were some corporations that survived for a time, but the Empire was just waiting for an excuse to take them over too. Siding with the people who want a silent dissent certainly is a choice, Bob Iger. So, what can we do about all of this? How do we use our power? Canceling your Disney Plus subscription is one way, we did, and by some reports that has caught the attention of Disney leadership. They're also afraid that kind of action will spread into their parks. That is our primary collective power against corporations. It's how we choose to spend our time and money. Even if it's temporary and you resubscribe down the line, unsubscribing now is part of a building message and an obvious reaction to what happened last week. As for this channel, I'm not going to pretend I have the perfect solution right now, because I don't. Talking about Star Wars is how we pay our bills. I mean, I have to be honest about that. But I also want to keep talking about Star Wars because it brings me joy. It brings other people joy, and people deserve to take joy where they can these days. The people in charge do not get to take our joy, but they also don't get to be off the hook. I want to continue explaining what Star Wars has to say about the times we are currently living through. I want to support the storytellers who continue to give us things like Andor, which could not be more relevant and clear about what it stands for. I want to celebrate and support the Star Wars creators and writers and artists who are also speaking out. I'm not mad at the people who make Star Wars, I'm mad at the people who own it and don't even comprehend its meaning. So my plan is to keep talking about Star Wars, hopefully in a way that's still fun and thoughtful and stays true to what the franchise actually says, which at the moment means pointing out Disney's hypocrisy. But that's it from me today. Definitely one of the stranger teaser breakdowns I've ever done, but hey, things are strange right now. Let me know what you think of the teaser and everything else I said in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on our socials, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.